2 months down the line after getting my first car, I was involved in a car accident. And when that happened, it just continually added to the pain that I was already feeling. I realized that when life gets hard and when life gives you lemons, the things that suffer the most is the things that you love dearly, and it's the things that you are passionate about. I just want to say thank you, Lord, for enabling me, Lord Jesus, to enter the year 2026, for keeping me safe, for keeping me alive. Lord, I'm grateful. I do not take it for granted that, Jesus, I'm still alive today. I will live to give you my worship. I will live to give you my praise because, Lord, you deserve it. Thank you, Jesus. I'm grateful for the vision of this podcast that you gave me on the 31st of December 2024. I'm grateful for this vision. I'm grateful for this purpose that you have given me. I've been tried. I've been hurt. But I'm not broken. You've kept me safe. You've protected me. I'm more grateful for the ambition and the passion that you gave me for this podcast. Regardless of all the hardships and all the tribulations, I never thought of giving up. I lost enthusiasm, I lost energy, I lost the drive, but I never thought of giving up. Thank you for giving me the reason to be alive. Thank you for giving me the purpose through this podcast. I pray this prayer that, God, I know that this podcast is going to be one of the biggest podcasts that are playing a huge impact in the world. One of the good days it will be. Might not be tomorrow, might not be next year, might not be 3 years later or 5 years later, but I know it will be. It will serve impact worldwide. I know it. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. What's up, Visionaries? I welcome you into the very first episode of Beyond the Vision in the new year 2026. I hope that you will achieve all your goals that you have set for yourself in this new year. I pray that God bring breakthrough and prosperation in your life. I'm pretty sure this is probably the episode or a message that somebody has been looking for. This is a message that you may have been looking for. I don't usually do this, but as you've seen on the title, I truly believe that if you can just give me an ear and listen to this whole video until the end, you will have a mindset change regarding ambition, passion, success, and working hard towards your goals. So, what I'm asking is for you to just give me a chance. Listen to this message that I want to share until the end. I believe that it may change your life, and through you, it may impact other people's lives as well. Without saying anything else, welcome to Beyond the Vision. Let's build and transform. All right. I'm going to start by giving you the background of what I was doing in 2025. If you're not new on the channel, you may already know that I was still a student in 2025, even though I started working in 2025. Immediately after finishing my engineering degree, I was doing my honors in mechanical engineering. Um, so much happened in 2025 such that I couldn't make it or I couldn't complete my honors degree at the time that I was supposed to complete it. There's a lot of things that came into play. There's a lot of things that I went through that had an impact in the way how everything resulted at the end of the year. Allow me to say that 2025 has been the most precious year of my life, but yet the most painful year for me. It started off great, but there was a point where things took a turn such that everything that just started declining. My health declined, I got burnt out, I lost enthusiasm, and I found myself at a point where it felt like there was no reason for any of these things that I'm doing and any of these things that are keeping me busy. I couldn't make it, or I couldn't finish my honors at the time that I was supposed to. I remember when I shot the very last episode in 2025, and you may be surprised that why was the last episode of 2025 in September? It's been 5 months now since the last episode of Beyond the Vision. But the answer is I don't know. I don't know. By my will and by my desire, the very last episode that I recorded with Ryan was not supposed to be the last episode. But unfortunately, it was the last episode of 2025. So I got very sick in 2025. I had acid reflux. My muscles became inflamed, and I think it was because I was traveling almost 4 times a month to go and write assessments on campus because I was still studying. It's actually not 4 times because if I'm counting the trip going to the campus and coming back to where I stay, then it makes 8 trips a month. My back was inflamed. I couldn't sit properly. I got so burnt out. I couldn't eat properly. I couldn't sleep peacefully. I became stressed. I became overwhelmed by everything. But out of everything, I'm grateful to God that I'm still alive today and I'm still able to come and sit in front of this camera and give you the realest truth about who I am and what is happening in my life. That is the reason why God gave me the vision to start this podcast, to bring reality for you to see, for you to witness, and for you to learn. We learn sometimes not by our own experiences, but by other people's experiences. So I saw that it's a good opportunity that God gave me to allow other people to learn through my experiences. Hence, I share almost everything that goes on in my life. Although I can tell you now, what I've shared here is not even 50% of the things that are causing the struggles that I have, the things that are causing the pressure, the pain, and the hurt that I'm undergoing. It's not even 50%. Some of the things are too personal, such that I'm not ready yet to share them on this podcast. But hopefully, one day I'll feel the edge, or I'll feel that I'm able to share, and I will share. So that's what happened last year. And a good thing that happened to me last year, and that's not the only good thing that happened to me, it's just one among many others. I bought my first car in 2025. I remember it was towards the end of August, around the 28th or 29th. I woke up and I decided that I needed a car. I knew already that I needed a car. So I went on and bought a car. You can go and watch my previous video that I posted um, about buying my first car. And 2 months down the line, after getting my first car, I was involved in a car accident. And when that happened, it just continually added to the pain that I was already feeling. Again, I'm grateful to God. I was not injured at all, and none of the passengers in my car were injured, nor the passengers on the other car, because I crashed with a Uber car. So the guy was driving the other car. He's an Uber driver, and the consequences that I had to suffer after that was that I'm a new driver, so it was my mistake. And what made it the worst is that one of the passengers was taking a video in the other car. I couldn't deny and say, no, it was just an accident that happened. So I had to take accountability and accept that it was my mistake, and I will have to cover the costs of fixing my car and the other car. It wasn't an easy season to pass through. It wasn't a very pleasant situation to be in, because that is my first car. Still new. I didn't buy a second-hand car. I bought a brand new Polo Vivo. It broke me, it hurt me, and because I'm a new driver, obviously I'm driving the cutest car in South Africa, um, and it's a high risk vehicle. So my insurance premiums are a little bit high, and my access is very high. So the decision that I took was that I'm gonna take money from my pocket to pay for fixing my car and the other guy's car. I did that. Trust me, it wasn't a pleasant situation. I'm not rich. I'm just trying to get rich. I'm trying to live um, a life of ease. But that was a little bit of a financial strain to me, and it impacted me emotionally, financially. It impacted me not so much in a good way, but in a little bit of a painful way. But I passed through that, and when I passed through that, I noticed that of all the things that had transpired in 2025, or things that had already happened during the year at that point, I I realized that when life gets hard and when life gives you lemons, the things that suffer the most is the things that you love dearly and it's the things that you are passionate about. Because when all these things were happening, my podcast struggled. I was not supposed to shoot the last episode in September, but because of all these events that happened, I couldn't continue to shoot. I was not in a good state to shoot. I was no longer practicing my piano, so that's a delay in my progress as a musician. So those things are my passions. They're things that I believe God gave me to be talented in for a purpose and for a reason. But because of the things that were happening, they suffered the most. And the other thing that I discovered is that when life is a little bit hard and it's affecting you mentally and emotionally, the people around you who love you may suffer the most pain because you may treat them bad without realizing it. And all because you're going through something and you are not okay in that season. But in this episode, please pardon me if I'm talking too slowly, but I'm trying to be real. And this is what this podcast is about. Being real. And I want to radiate my feelings to my audience and I want you to take in whatever I'm saying and understand it fully, not in half. So all these things that I've shared with you, I've noticed that at one point they may impact a person's ambition, a person's drive for success, a person's drive to serve their purpose. But the question that I asked myself as I entered 2026 was that how do I bounce back into being driven for success, into being driven for serving my purpose? How do I bounce back into devoting myself on the things that I love? And after thinking and this, what I'm about to share with you is my realizations as a human being. These are not any laws that are written anywhere. There's no book that I've read where I would say I got these things from. But these are just the realizations that I've had as I took my time to think and to pray with God. To pray to God, not with God. I don't pray with God, I pray to God. So I've got several things that I want to share and talk about with you guys as to how do you bounce back into focusing on the things that you're passionate about, the things that you love after being broken, after being hurt, after going through tribulations and challenges. First thing is to accept that The reality is not a fantasy that lives in our heads sometimes. That's the first thing. To accept that indeed this thing is happening. That's the reality. The ideal condition is what is in our heads. The ideal condition is what you want to see as the result of everything that you're putting work into. But the reality is not always going to be matching the ideal condition that is in our minds. So that's the very first thing. Understand that, accept that it's the reality. You know what I mean? It's the reality, and if it's happening, it's true, it's happening. But it doesn't mean that, it's happening to you because God doesn't want to see you progress or there's anything that is against you. No, it's the reality of life. That is how life is. That's what makes it interesting, actually. Second thing, for you to bounce back into devoting yourself to the things that you love, cut out unnecessary things that are in your life. What I've also noticed is that in this time where I'm overwhelmed, I'm suffering, I'm drowning, I'm drained every day, I'm running in cycles every day. I feel like my life is not moving because I'm not serving my purpose. I'm not able to do the things that I love because I'm tired, because I have fatigue. I realize that even when it's like that, there are some things that as a human being you will be doing that are unnecessary. For example, social media. That's the first thing that you need to look into if you feel overwhelmed, you feel drained, and you feel stuck in one place. Social media. The issue of social media is one that is very important, and I want to make it, I want you to be aware that you cannot try to bounce back into doing the things that you love while you are living the reality based on social media. We're living in a generation where social media these days defines people's identities. Social media defines people's personalities. People have consumed so much from social media such that they don't even know their real self anymore. So look into that. Find out if you are also consumed by social media. Being consumed by social media is you enjoying going on YouTube, watching YouTube without, setting apart time to do things that you love, but just watching continuously TikTok, Instagram, and all that, and it's just being in the fantasy while you are on social media because that's what social media does. It takes you to live in the world of fantasy, not in the reality, because you see people living a stunning life, you know what I mean, showing that this thing is possible, showing that they've made it in life, and you start to live in fantasy, be like, oh, one day I can become this, and living in fantasy like that while you don't put in work to the things that you love is not going to result in any good thing for you. And so I'm saying that's the second thing that you need to look into if you want to devote yourself into the things that you love doing and are passionate about. If you want to reignite that ambition that you had from the very beginning, look into that as well. Third, get rid of any bad habit that takes away your energy and hope. This may not apply to everyone, but I know it applies to a majority of people. There are things that we do that we know I enjoy this thing for a moment, but it's a bad habit. I don't like it, I don't love it. but I do it. If I can make reference with the Bible, Paul said, and he was saying this in pain, I do things that I don't want to do, and that which I want to do, I'm failing to do them. Unfortunately, that is the reality of a majority of us today. There's bad habits that we've gotten ourselves into, and sometimes we are not even trying to get out. Some people are trying to get out, but it's hard to get out of those bad habits. Bad habits may be anything that when you do it, you don't feel good after when you think about it. That's a bad habit. So that's the third thing. Identify what that bad habit is. Identify what nature of a bad habit is and get rid of it accordingly. And there's no other way of getting rid of a bad habit apart from telling yourself that I'm going to do it first. You tell yourself that I'm going to get rid of this bad habit, and then you put your trust on the Maker. The Father cannot come and prevent you from doing whatever that bad habit may be. But if you tell yourself that I don't want to find myself doing this thing anymore, and you tell God, God gives you strength, God gives you the drive to be able to not continue with that bad habit. And that's how you will break free. I saw a post someone posted on WhatsApp that it was a video clip. This person was saying, and I'm rephrasing, I'm not going to say exactly the words that they said. They said, there is no man that is the strongest like a man who is fully aware of who he is, than a man who is emotionally stable, than a man who has full self-control, than a man who is able to treat people right, than a man who has confidence in himself. That's the strongest man. And from that clip, I want to say this to you. Live in the reality. Don't live in fantasy. We have lost people because not because they were living in fantasy, but the notion has been idolized such that every man think that they are men enough if they are in full control of their emotions every time. If they are able to treat people right every time. Men have killed themselves. Men have done extremely awful things to themselves because of having that pressure that I'm unable to do this. I'm not in full control of my emotions. I'm not in full control of myself. Yes, that's the strongest man. Those are the traits that define a strongest man. But if we are talking about a strongest man, we are talking about somebody then who is perfect, somebody who has mastered everything that makes out a strongest man. And unfortunately, we don't have such. So understand that you're not perfect. Understand that sometimes you will fall short of the things that you want to do in life. Don't strive to be perfect. That's what will kill you. Accept things as they are. Change what you can change. Devote yourself into changing bad habits, but trust in God for everything else. That is the third thing. The fourth thing, focus on getting answers from God rather than your own self or other people. I said earlier that these things that I'm sharing here are my own realizations after I was spending time thinking and praying. So I believe that this was not just me who came up with these things. I got help from where I asked help. God. Don't try to get answers in the wrong places, like your own mind and the other people's minds. Everybody is going through something. Some don't, some just don't talk about it. Everyone has got something that is bothering them. They've got something that they're fighting every day. When you are asking or you're trying to get answers from people for the things that you're going through, they're going to answer in their own perspective. And their own perspective might not be appropriate for the kind of a person that you are. There's only one who knows what's right for you. He said, I will not lay the burden that is too heavy for you, that is too heavy for you. So he knows each and every single answer for whatever that you're going through. Is the right person to tell. Is the right person to vent to. Is the right person to go and cry in front of him. Not people, not yourself. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't share. It's good to share. It's important that you share the things that you feel that are hindering your heart. But don't be looking for answers from people and yourself. Share to relieve yourself. Share to get whatever advice that they're giving you. But don't expect that a person is gonna know exactly what you need. Sometimes we are running in circles and we are unable to move past the things that we are struggling with because we are taking an advice from this person, apply it from this person, apply it from this person, apply it. And then when it doesn't work, we just feel like then nothing is going to work. No, what's going to work is what you will get from above, God. That's what will work. The fifth thing, go back to where you started. Look at the reasons why you started. This is one of the most important things when you feel overwhelmed and when you feel like you're losing the ambition and your passion for the things that you love. To remember why you started, to remember the reason that made you invent that particular thing. As I'm recording this, I'm feeling very proud of myself after 5 months of not recording. Not because I was not telling myself that today I'm going to record. No. I've had many times, I've had many instances where I came into the studio, I set up everything, I sat down and say, I'm going to record today. I just felt that I can't. Went back to sleep. So, go back to where everything started. Look at the reason that made you start. That's what is going to reignite that ambition, reignite that energy, and bring back the enthusiasm that you had. But only if you started for good reasons. If you do not start for good reasons, it may be hard to bounce back into it because you are growing, you are evolving. If it wasn't for a good reason, when you think about it, you feel like, it's failures. So, go back to where it started. Look into the reasons why you started. They will help you. The last thing is reinvent yourself and the drive that you had when you started. More or less the same thing as what I just said. But here I'm saying you invented yourself. You invented Just like myself, I invented this podcast when God gave me the vision. I started it. Now is the time for me to reinvent myself. I'm not starting over again, but I'm reinventing. Reinventing means you are focusing again. You're going back to the drawing board. You're doing things with the drive of a person who was doing it for the first time. You're doing things with the drive that you had when you started. You are rebranding yourself for the better and for you to devote yourself into what you love, even when you are going through challenges, even when you're going through things that are not easy, things that are hard, things that are painful, things that may even make you wish like life can just come to a complete stop. I've had those instances, trust me. But I thank God because He always gives me the reason to be alive. He always tells me that there is a reason why you are still alive today. He has shown me that there is reasons why I'm still alive today. There is a lot of things that I could have lost my life. I could have given up. I couldn't have even seen 2026. But I did. So there is a reason to be alive. I want you to understand that life is full of uncertainties. Things won't always go the way you want. Actually, 70% of the time, things will go the way God is planning them to go. Yeah. You will plan, you will think I've got my life together. You will think, no, this thing is supposed to turn out this way, but no. God is the one who knows what's going to happen. So we are not certain about anything, but we are hopeful and believing and know that no matter what God has spoken about us shall come to pass. He said, I have good plans for you, plans to prosper you. So when you go through challenges and you are seeing all these uncertainties, all these inevitable things happening in your life, it's not that God is not seeing it. No. What I need you to take, as I'm about to close this episode, is that probably God is taking you through a journey that you need, but you thought you never needed. Such is life. All we can do is to keep our heads up, focus, trust and believe that God has the best interest in heart for us. Beyond the vision, let's build and transform.